Coming up on Kylee Makes It, grab some clay and some fingernail polish to create this awesome planet mobile. I was just cleaning up Dax's room a little bit. Do you want to help me? Thanks. Do you help your family around the house? Ooh, dart mission. Dax's favorite chore to help with is dusting. That's great because it's not my favorite. It takes all kinds of teamwork to run a family, doesn't it? Everybody does their part. I wonder what you would do if you could decorate a room however you wanted, just for you. What would it look like? Oh, these are cool. I want to show you these. Come here. Okay, I just made these. They're in the Kylee Makes It shop. Look. It's me and Dax and Hash Brown. A little comfy pillow. Okay, and this one is the absolute coolest. And I want one in every room of my house. It's a Hash Brown the dog pillow. And it looks just like him, look. Thanks for all your help. This room of my house is clean. This was my last room. That means every room of my house is clean. That means I can do something fun because I got my work done. That means, wait a minute, you're here. I'm free. We should craft. What do you want to make today? I see a problem. I see a huge problem. Look at that. What's that? A blank spot. Dax's room is a piece of art. It has so many things he loves. Basketball, space, solar system, rocket ships, Legos. How dare we have a blank and empty hook? You and I have an important task. We need to create something to go on that hook. And I know just what we should make. To the studio! Welcome to the studio. The first step of this super fun project is to roll up some planets. I love making planets. Bum, 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 bum. That's my coil adding song. We did it! Now we just need to wait for them to air dry, which means instead of taking the moisture out of the clay by baking it in an oven or a kiln, which would get real hot and the moisture up, we're just gonna let the air dry out the moisture in this clay so that when we press it, it won't squish. It'll stay its shape. So put this aside, make some other projects until these are ready to go in 1 or 2 days. These are finally dry and I am so excited to paint them. Today I'm going to be painting these planets in a very exciting way. I'm going to be water marbling them. Water marbling. You are going to love it, I think. Since we're using fingernail polish for this project, it is going to get a little stinky, so you might want to do it somewhere you can open up a window or turn on a fan or something for a little ventilation. I'm going to start by filling up my cup with water. Let's pick which planet we want to start with first. How about the first one, Mercury? Let's find it. It's gonna be the second smallest planet. Here's the smallest. There we go. Mercury is a gray, rocky planet. So let's see, I'm going to use this kind of gray color I got, maybe some white and some black, and I'm gonna throw in a little bit of purple. So now I'm gonna take each one of these colors and pour out a small amount onto the top of my water. And it's gonna float right on the surface. Ooh, it's already fun. Okay, next color. Now I'm going to swirl these colors together a little bit to make that kind of marbling effect. And then I'm going to dunk my planet in. And I'm gonna kind of make sure that I roll it so this paint on the surface gets on the surface of my ball. We're basically going to transfer it onto this clay ball. So I'm gonna dip it in, cover as much as I can. And even on the way up, I'm gonna think like that. It's kind of like putting on a blanket. How cool is that? Doesn't it look amazing? Once you have it covered how you want it to be covered, you can put it right back on the styrofoam plate while the paint dries. What planet should we do next? Should we just go in order? Let's do Venus, the next planet in our solar system. You don't need a new water, you don't need a new cup. You can just scrape off the paint from the first one and go for your next one. Let's find Venus. A little bit smaller than Earth. Must be this one. I'm gonna marble this a little bit, twist it up. Ready? Wow, it's beautiful. And it's time for Earth, our planet. Greens and blues, maybe a little bit of white for clouds. I'm gonna swirl up my blue and white. Here we go. Earth, 3, 2, 1. Sound effects just make art so much more fun. Okay, and up. Oh, that totally worked with the green. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, the second. I made a mistake. How about the first one, Mercury? Let's find it. It's gonna be the
second smallest planet.
Mercury's the smallest planet, not Mars. Oh dear, we already have an all black second smallest planet. What am I supposed to do with this guy? Should we pretend it's Mars or should we try to dunk that one again? What would you do if you were me? Really? Okay. Well, the first thing I want to say is, thanks for being the kind of friend where it's okay to make mistakes. Thanks for not making me feel bad for messing something up, even something I thought I knew really well. Does that ever happen to you? You forget something you knew, or you just weren't paying enough attention and you make a mistake? It happens to me all the time. But that's something that I actually love about art. When those things happen to me in art, it gives me an opportunity to practice what it's like making mistakes in other areas of my life. Have you ever said something you wish later you wouldn't have said? Made that kind of mistake, or done something you wish you wouldn't have done later? Sometimes that happens to me too. Art helps me practice what it's like to get something wrong and to come up with creative solutions to make it right again, or creative solutions to make it even better than it ever would have been in the first place. When I get to practice that in art, it makes it easier to do in my real life. All right, we painted them all. I think it's time to repaint Marscury into just Mars. I'm gonna paint one coat of this kind of beige paint over the whole thing to see if that kind of helps cover up these dark colors. We'll see. Did it help? I don't know. Let's pretend it helped. Okay. And now red, 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 red for our actual second smallest planet, Mars. I wonder if you were yelling at me like, hey, Kylee, that's not the right one. Hey, it worked. It's maybe a little bit darker red than it would have been if it would have just been white, but I think it looks amazing. I think these planets look so fun. Stick around, my friend, because we're gonna make something we've never made on Kylee Makes It yet. It's a
You're gonna have to wait and see. My planets are all dry and it's time to complete this masterpiece. I told you that we were gonna display these amazing planets in a cool new way we haven't done on this channel before. We are going to make a solar system mobile. That's right. You might have seen mobiles hanging above cribs for babies. It's something interesting for them to look at as their brains start to understand how things move. We were all babies like that once. Now, this mobile isn't going to be that safe for babies because they could reach up and yank it. And who wants a baby eating Saturn? That would be bad news. This mobile is for bigger kids who don't still put things in their mouths to learn about them. The first thing that you need for this mobile is an embroidery hoop. This is a really cool thing that's used for a different kind of art called embroidery. It has 2 hoops. This little screw loosens the first one so that the second one can pop out. Then you can put some cloth in between, sandwich it back together, and tighten this so that it holds your cloth like a frame as you use a needle and embroidery floss to make different designs. But not today. Today we're just using this inside ring. This is going to be the base for our mobile. I'm going to start by painting mine. You can skip this step if you want. I'm going to use a dark blue. While the paint on your embroidery hoop is drying, you can use that time to cut some string, or I'm using a light wire, you'll see why in a minute, to put your mobile together. String will totally work for this project, but if you are using light wire like me, be careful when you cut it because it does get kind of wild and it could poke you in the eyes. So be very careful or have a grown-up help you. I cut 8 pieces because I made 8 planets. If you made the dwarf planets or the sun or added a rocket ship or something, you need to add some more wires too. So for however many planets you made or whatever you want on the big part of your mobile, cut that many wires or strings. I'm going to start putting this together by lining up all my wires and wrapping them around my keychain. The reason wire is kind of nice for this project is because you don't need to tie any knots and it's easy to adjust it. Now I'm going to attach the wire and keychain to my embroidery hoop if the paint is ready. It is. I'm going to put my keychain down in the middle and I'm going to spread these out so they're about equally spaced all the way around my embroidery hoop. And then I'm going to start wrapping. If you're using string, you're probably going to need to tie this, but since I'm using wire, I can just do a little wrap. Watch. Bring it down, around, chomp. I need to keep in mind that I need to keep my keychain in the middle. Okay. Kind of crooked. So I'm gonna move these wires around until this whole thing is more balanced, or until I just like the way it looks. Hey, that's pretty good. We'll make some final adjustments at the end, but I think we have a really good start. Now, you could just put your planets on from here, but I thought it would be fun if we added some extra things, like some beads for asteroids and the dwarf planet. I even found this swirly black bead for maybe like a black hole. And then I have these glow-in-the-dark stars that might be fun to add too. Use your imagination for this part. Maybe I'll start with a star. This doesn't have a hole in it. This is why the wire's kind of nice. I'm just gonna bend the wire all the way around until it feels nice and secure. We hung our first thing on our mobile. Now that I strung it on, I'm just gonna keep it in place by wrapping the wire again. 1 star, 1 asteroid. Awesome. Okay, I think it's time for our first planet, Mercury. There it is. I'm going to actually just push my wire right through. Wrap the wire up, give it a twist. Find my scissors. Do you guys always lose your scissors like me? Oh! And trim that extra wire right off. And there's our first planet. I'm gonna start this one with an asteroid. I know a lot of my friends on this channel really love space. I'm wondering if you've done a lot of learning about asteroids. Dax, my son, is very into asteroids right now. Like this one, it reminds me of the asteroid Itokawa. All right, it's time for our next planet, Venus. Time for Earth. This is gonna look so cool. Mars. Jupiter. Do you know what planet's next? Saturn. Time for Uranus. For our last string, we're gonna do our last major planet, Neptune. I love it. It reminds me about how planets orbit the sun. Like if this ring was the sun up here, we could turn it and all of these planets would orbit. We could even make them rotate. A little bit anyway. Whoa, that's getting wild. Okay, one step left. We need to go hang this in Dax's room. Come on! Excuse me, hash brown. I love it. What do you think? He loves it too. Thank you so much for helping me make Dax's room a little more magical. You're awesome. If you want to make more solar system crafts, do some science experiments, and do more art projects, let's do it together. Just search for Kylee Makes It. Kylee. That's me. And I'll see you soon.